all but NAMI's family. Great supportive community, close-knit caring family. We're non-judgy, blanket fuzzy, stigma-free. All but NAMI's family, friends, family, and community. We all but NAMI's family. Teacher sharing is our key. Great big thanks to you all.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Stigma Stompers, NAMI of Erie County PA's one and only podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Abby.
And I'm your other host, Janana.
Today we are joined with two of our, I guess now, like, ex-interns, I guess? Two of our former interns from Gannon's occupational therapy department. So we'll be talking a little bit about our Exploring the Arts programming and then their experience with facilitating some of our programs. So, yeah, welcome.
Thank you
for having us. Yeah. Can you just start by introducing yourselves and sharing a little bit about your background?
Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
My name is Reagan McMahon. I am a third-year occupational therapy student at Gannon University. I am from Mission Viejo, California. Wow. I grew up there my whole life, moved out here because I'm a part of the acrobatics and tumbling team at Gannon. Yeah.
So the winter
was the weather like shell shock? Like, were you
a little bit? Yeah, it was kind of crazy because we don't get much. Like where I live, at least, like we get rain maybe 5 days a year, and the rest of it is crazy. Just sun. It gets down to like 60, and people complain about how cold it is.
Wow, so this winter was like really bad then. So
yeah. It was quite the experience. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that's usually
it actually, I think it's more than 50% of our days here are like cloudy. So that's literally crazy.
So I'm Ally&Reagan. I'm also a third-year occupational therapy student at Gannon. I'm from a small town called Sharon. I don't know if you know where that's at. It's an hour north of Pittsburgh. But yeah, I'm used to this weather, honestly. I mean, it's a lot windier here, but the snow was not a shock to me. But I did come here because I really like the environment. I don't like the I don't like campus feels. Like, I don't like when I feel like confined in a campus. So I like just being able to walk around and like go to different buildings. I like the city feel of everything. But yeah, this winter was really bad. I was not ready for it.
Really bad.
Especially right before Thanksgiving.
When it started and then it didn't stop.
Class, like, our university closed for 2 days, and it like never happens.
No, never. Like Edinburgh, and then all the schools here, they just kind of you just kind of truck through, and they're like, "Hope you have snippets." Class is still on, but literally all of them closed, which was crazy.
Yeah. They all like closed before us, and we were all like crossing our fingers that we were gonna close too.
They like, be aware for frostbite, and we were like, okay.
We did walk to class in one day.
Yeah, it was
a blizzard outside, and we walked to class.
I was sliding.
Oh my goodness.
Well, welcome to Erie.
Hope you're enjoying it. So actually, let's start off, since it's such a shock going from such nice weather to Erie, did you experience any symptoms of like SAD, which are like seasonal affective disorder by chance?
I'm not really sure like that part, just because like before I even came here like to Gannon, I've been diagnosed with anxiety and depression, so I am like currently on meds for it, but I mean like it's just like that was kind of like my normal, so I don't know if like, I mean obviously it gets worse in the winter for pretty much everyone,
of course,
but so I guess not really.
Hey, that is fair, and that's a good thing if you don't, because they can be pretty tough, especially with the shorter days. So what drew you both to the occupational therapy field, and how did you become involved with NAMI specifically for exploring the arts?
So basically for me, I knew that I wanted to go into like healthcare of some sort. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I wasn't really familiar with like occupational therapy. I knew about like physical therapy, but my grandma and my papa both went through occupational therapy, and I'm like close knit with them both. So seeing like the impact that it had on them, but also I really like having an impact on people's lives and like seeing them progress in the process and like having like a positive outcome of some sort. So seeing occupational therapy and seeing like how you can be creative, and like I know Reagan and I want to work in pediatrics. So being able to like be creative and like see the growth within kids is like really like special to me. So I think that that's why I picked occupational therapy.
That's
Very
amazing.
cool.
I love that.
Yeah, I have a little bit of like a different side of it. I started out as a physician assistant major at Gannon, and I didn't really love it. It wasn't for me, so I looked at my options. I looked at like every different healthcare because I knew I like wanted to go into some sort of healthcare side. And a couple of my teammates had gone through the program, and they explained everything that I wanted in like my occupation, and they were like, you have to try OT, like you have to try occupational therapy, like we think you'll love it. And so far I have just like, it's like a complete switch in like how much I'm like enjoying school, which is crazy to me because people say they hate school and like hate their classes, but I have enjoyed like every class we've been in. Like I love all of our professors. It's just like really amazing. Yeah.
That's
great.
amazing. That has to help the transition from high school to college as well, because going into college can also be stressful. I mean, you don't know what to expect. Even if you aren't a first generation, you're still, I mean, it's a first time experience. You're away from home, things like that. You know, did you get homesick and things like that, especially with the nicer weather? I mean, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, I definitely did. I got homesick my freshman year. So I've been at Gannon for 4 years. So my freshman year was a big transition because I am from a family of 7. So I've always like had a lot of like chaos and everything going on. Like I have 4 siblings. So like we always are like really tight and like really close to each other. So being like away from them, but also like not having my parents like right there when I'm like, okay, what do I do like with this problem? My mom was like, it's also like a time difference. So like, and it's 8 a.m. here, it's 5 a.m. there. So I can't be calling her in the morning if I have an issue. Like I have to figure it out myself. So that was definitely a transition. And then also just like having to lean on people here was also something that I had to learn, because I love being independent with myself, but sometimes you need to lean on people. And I am like really grateful for like the community that I have like in Acro, but also like with us, like as a program there's only 13 of us in our class, so like we're all pretty close. That's nice.
Yeah, that support system is really important.
You're so much closer. Sharon's like like an hour or
It's
two
like an
from
hour
here.
and 25.
How was it for you transitioning to college?
I would say it was obviously hard. I actually did want to transfer freshman year. Not because like anything with the school, but it's just I really struggled with putting myself out there, and I would say that I'm a very like extrovert like person. Like I would say that I can like make good relationships, but like it was really hard for me because I'm just so used to having like the same like friends from kindergarten to 12th grade, and like the new environment, like I couldn't really find like a lot of friends. I wasn't really putting myself out there. And then luckily we had an RA that we had to go check in with for the first like 4 weeks in our freshman dorm, and I met like actually my 2 best friends that I'm living with now. And it's just like having that like accessibility and that experience. Like I never thought I would be friends with them, and then all of a sudden like it happened, and it made me like have a whole outlook on college. Like, oh wow, like these are gonna be the people that like I'm gonna like be friends with for the rest of my life. So I feel like it was really hard in the beginning. Like I missed my parents. Obviously, same thing like with what Reagan said. Like having my dad and my mom. Like, what do I do when this happens? Like, Dad, like I need you to help me like fill this out or like whatever. That was very hard. And my sister went to Penn State Bear, and she just graduated last year, but she was in her junior year, so like very stressful time for her. So I didn't really get to see her as much. So I felt very, very like isolated. But thankfully, I finally put myself out there around like winter break, going into spring semester, and like I met like my like really good friends. And then it kind of like I feel like a little bit more independent. I feel like I've grown a lot. I still depend on my parents a lot. I might still call my dad occasionally. I'm like, I have to fill this out. Like, can you send my resume over? Like stuff like that. But I'm a lot more independent.
I feel like no matter how old we get, our parents are still going to be very important to help us get through those tough days. But it's so crazy to think about, you know, at 18 that you have to pretty much figure out your future and start living alone for some people, and you know, figuring everything out. So that's such a shock, but you guys seem to be doing great, so we're proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kind of moving into your experience with the Exploring the Arts program, what kind of activities did you facilitate with the kids?
We worked a lot with emotional regulation and just being able to handle emotions. So we did a emotional journal, a calming jar, and then we did a wheel of emotions. So basically, it was the journal, and then the calming jar, and then the wheel. And basically, like, our purpose of creating those were, one, like, we wanted the kids to be creative and have the ability, since, like, they are, like, younger, like, being able to express themselves through art. But also, it is really hard, even for me, and I can't speak for Reagan, but, like, handling my emotions, like, it's still a struggle for me, and I'm 20. So it's...
I get that.
I think that, like, having the ability to expose kids at a young age to how to, like, maybe understand coping skills, or how to, like, regulate, or even simple, like, writing down, like, what you did today and how you felt, and, like, noticing like what made you upset or happy, like, is really, really helpful. And at a young age, like, early intervention, I think, is very important.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, we struggled a little bit at the beginning trying to figure out, like, what exactly we wanted to do with them, but we knew, like, obviously, like, researching and stuff, like, we knew that we wanted to incorporate art in some sort, because obviously that can be therapeutic in itself, but also, like, helping them also create things that they can continue to use as long as they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. We do. I know Abby, more than I, works with some of our kids' programs, and she emphasizes a lot how important it is to, have kids understand their emotions, because at a young age you don't know what you're feeling, and sometimes anger can be misconstrued and come out differently, or if a kid's misbehaving, so I love that you guys did that. I feel like it's really important.
I feel like it's also important because I feel like kids and parents get frustrated that, like, the parents aren't understanding how they're feeling, but the kids can't articulate it. So teaching them younger, like, this is how it could feel if you're angry, this is how it can feel if you're anxious, and giving them the words can help everyone understand what's going on.
Yeah,
so it's definitely really important.
Absolutely. So what was your favorite activity that you facilitated, and why was that?
I would say, honestly, like, the last session, like, as a whole was at least my favorite. I don't know about Ally, but I feel like we had a really big breakthrough with some of the kids, because some of them are pretty shy in that class, and being able to, like, do that activity with them and like get down on their level and, like, help them think of, like, ideas with, like, their emotions and, like, how they can use a certain coping skill really was cool to see that, like, they really, like, it clicked, I think, for some of them, and it was and some of them, like, actually, like, talked and, like, were, like, having real conversations with us. So it was really nice to see that, like, we made an impact on them, and they, like, wanted to, I guess, kind of, like, be friends with us at the last session. Yeah,
that's definitely exciting. So I want to kind of ask a different question, more about you guys. So during the time that you were facilitating these, I mean, sometimes it can be tough working with kids, like we talked about, the emotions and things like that. What's something that you guys did for yourselves to kind of help you with mindfulness and kind of your college students going through different things to kind of de-stress? What are some things for self-care? That's the word I was looking for. Self-care that you do for yourselves.
I think for self-care for me, and just allowing me to, like, distress, and, like, especially with school, like, there's, like, a lot of work, especially last semester. This semester I feel like is a little bit more, like, relaxed. I feel like we have less things to do, but last semester I was very stressed, and I was thinking, like, what do I do that, like, helps me, like, feel better, or, like, I can take time, but also, like, when I have the time, like, I can do it, like, because sometimes I feel like I don't have time to do certain things. But I really like cooking. Like, I really do love cooking, and I meal prep. So, like, I always look forward to, like, finding new recipes and then meal prepping on Sunday and Monday. And then going to the gym is my, like, all-time, like, therapeutic, like, time just to, like, relax. Because, like, if I'm angry, I go to the gym. Like, if I'm sad, I go to the gym. It's just, like, I think it's, like, my, like, safe space just to go and, like, be by myself. Like, I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't talk to anybody at the gym. I just walk in and then I get out.
Yeah.
So I would say that's mine.
I do enjoy cooking, but I hate cleaning up cooking. So that's most of the time why I will avoid it as like my coping skill, I guess. But I like to listen to music a lot. So I'll listen to music like either just when I'm like in my room, like on my phone, or like I have vinyls, so I'll play those, or when I have the time, I'll go on a drive, like whether it's by myself or like with one of my roommates. And then I think that's what I do.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned the drive. That's something that I think you might know, but me and my sister go for drives every day, and it's crazy because you go for that drive and you're thinking about different things, and then you start talking about it because it kind of does clear your mind, in my opinion. So yeah. And I just wanted to mention, I love that because there's different things, and even though you like cooking, you don't like cleaning up. I don't either. So I don't blame you there. But it's something that's therapeutic for you. So it's like the different people, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be something we say is, it doesn't have to be a bubble bath. Like whatever makes you happy. So
yeah. Kind of getting back into the sessions with exploring the arts, how did you incorporate occupational therapy principles into your activities?
So obviously occupational therapy is like a holistic approach, so we look at like the client as a whole. And I think that emotions are just like you said, like different with everyone. Like the way I feel sad could be completely different than the way like you guys feel sad. So I feel like we really focus on just being able to find ways to like help people understand their emotions, but also find ways on how to cope. Like we talked about coping skills a lot. Fortunately, like I think the kids knew what their like coping skills were because they had NAMI before and like they touched on coping skills. But I think just looking at like the client as a whole and just like being able to like tell them like we're here for you, like there are ways like to help you, there are ways that are going to fit for you, like it's not all going to be the same, like everyone's different, and like occupational therapy is like applicable to every single person. So I feel like just being able to like do interventions like art or like tactile, which is like you feel around for certain things, like it's just I think it was very easy to make like occupational therapy like known within like our interventions, because like we explained it to them. We're like, we're going to work on like activities of daily living with you, stuff that like you like to do. And there were kids who were like, yeah, I like journaling. And it was like good to be able to like, I didn't think that they were gonna like the journaling, like I really didn't. And then a bunch of them were like, oh, like I love journaling, like we did this before. And I don't know if it was just like decorating the journal or like actually writing, but like being able to like see that like kids are exposed to like, I still journal, like I journal all the time. So like seeing that kids are exposed to that, like I don't know, like it was really impactful to me.
Yeah, I definitely think that even like as kids, obviously they're like developing and they need like developmental skills. So like we were able to like, I mean, like if some of them had issues with like grabbing like or an like a not an issue, but like
no, I know.
Yeah. Like we put like beads in a Dixie cup, so like they need to like be able to grasp the beads. Like that's part of like occupational therapy, and like being able to like not teach them it, but make sure that we're like assessing them and making sure that they can use a pencil correctly. Like it's not only obviously like we're looking at their emotions, but we can also like observe like how they are like functioning.
And also like cognitively too, like if we're explaining directions and if they're like totally lost, like we can see like not exactly their level of cognition, but like being able to see like, oh, they're not like recalling and using like what we like just said to them. Or like if they're writing something completely different, if we said like what'd you do today and they're writing about like vacation, like it's just like you being able to tell like cognitively like roughly where they're at.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
I guess we also didn't really ask you to explain what occupational therapy is. So can you explain it for anyone that's watching that may not know what it is?
Yeah, so basically occupational therapy, we can work with any age group. So like as little as like NICU babies, all the way to like older age, in like living facilities and stuff like that. And we just help them get back to their meaningful daily activities, whether that's going to the bathroom or journaling like we did with the kids, or dressing,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that they can do those meaningful activities that they want to do in life. So we're focusing on them as a whole and not just their disability or what they can't do. And we're helping them either modify those activities so that they can be able to do them, or teaching them strategies to help, or help not heal them, but help them get to that point where they can do those activities in life.
And we try to work on doing it pain free as well. We have we had practicals, and it's we always have to ask about pain. I mean, not to that we're going to completely it's going to completely go away, because even my grandpa who had occupational therapy, he's still in pain, but it's finding ways to what Reagan said, adapt and modify to make it as pain free as possible.
And definitely as independently, because obviously everyone wants to be able to go to the bathroom by themselves and be able to get in the shower and do that by themselves. So we're helping them by even giving them tools a shower chair if they're too fatigued to be showering. We'll give them a shower chair. They can shower by themselves independently and as independently as possible.
Or if they have a problem with feeding themselves, making the utensil thicker, putting something around it so they don't have to grasp it as tightly. Simple things house modifications are really impactful too.
I do love that, and I feel like mental health probably plays a huge role for you guys working with individuals, because I can only imagine, if you can't do things on your own that you usually would be doing, that has to be so tough on your mental health, or having a disability or something like that must be tough. So kind of tying into the programs that you guys have done with us, what are some of the challenges that you faced, and how did you handle those, if you faced any challenges?
I know at least in our second session, the kids were a little bit more distracted, I would say, just because the timing was a little bit weird. So we got there at 3:30 and we left at 4:30, but some of the buses were sometimes late. So half of the kids were already in the classroom, and the teacher in there had told us to start. So we started, but there was only, I think, eight-ish students in there. So we had already started explaining and started our session, and then another 8 came in. So then it was the people who were in the classroom were distracted with kids coming in, then it got loud and we had to refocus. But I think it kind of almost distracted them for the whole session, because then all their friends just got there and they wanted to talk. But I think we did well, being able to get them back on track as much as we could, and helping them re-explain directions, re-explain what we were doing for the day, making sure that everyone if they had questions, we were explaining it. I
agree. I would also say I feel a challenge that we faced was definitely sharing. I feel there was a group of girls that I think were not judgmental, but they have certain cliques in their friend group, and I think some were scared because they didn't want to be judged, or they didn't want comments made about their journal or jar or anything. So I definitely feel I don't want to go with bullying, but I feel a fear of being judged, or a fear of the comments made about your journal or your creativity. I think that definitely was it hindered people's participation, because I know at a young age, I especially girls can be very judgmental even now. So I know that the guys didn't care. The guys were oh, this is my journal.
Yeah.
But the girls were definitely scared to participate, and it's upsetting, because that's something that I struggled with as a kid, and even sometimes now you can't you're still gonna struggle with people that are rude and ignorant. But it was very disheartening to see how worried some of them were. Because you would think that they're all close, because they're all together at the end of the day, but they got better at the end. I feel they were all participating without us having to prompt them to be oh, I saw you put purple on yours, why? But definitely the first and second session were very difficult to break the girls out of their shell.
Yeah. No, that's understandable. I love the saying that, not everyone's going to like you. You might have said that in the office a few times too, but not everyone's going to like you. Sometimes that's tough to, realize, but it is the truth. So, yeah.
Definitely. How did your experience with exploring the arts kind of shape your understanding of mental health and its connection to OT?
I would say for me, I think the journal really, really had an impact on me because I use it. And I know everyone's gonna be different. We're all like always told by our professors, like no one's the same. Like you could use like the same assessment on everyone, but like no one's responses are gonna be like identical. So I feel like for me the journal, like I said, like I journal, and like just being able to like understand like the importance of like I sometimes don't know how to express my feelings like verbally or like talk to people, or I feel like I'm a burden. So being able just like to understand like the importance of like writing down stuff, but also like being there for people, because like I feel like when we were there with like the kids and we like showed interest in what they were doing, or like, oh, like I noticed you like colored, we had like a calendar on the side and it was like, what were they, like green, yellow, blue, and red, and like each color represented an emotion, and like for the day you had to fill out like what like you felt. Like someone put yellow and I was like, oh, like I saw you put like yellow, like why did you feel that way? And like I feel like that allowed kids to be like, oh, like someone actually like cares about like what I'm thinking, or what I'm feeling. And I feel like as occupational therapy, like patients like are coming in and they're like vulnerable, like they have no hope. We learned about it to like families, and like the clients are just like hopeless, like they don't know like what's gonna happen, like they don't think they're ever gonna get back to like how they used to be. And I feel like just being there and listening and just like letting them know, obviously you're not gonna say like I know what you're going through, because like we don't, but it's just being like, I'm here for you, like we're gonna find ways to like hopefully help improve you, like just being there for someone and like giving them that like light at the end of the tunnel. Because even for me, like I know like when I get like sick, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is the end of the world. And like just having like my mom and like dad there, like for simple things like making me like food or something, like just having like that like support was always beneficial and always helpful. I'm like, oh, like I am gonna get better. But I just feel like always being there and like just being like someone's outlet is like very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Through everything, support systems are so essential. No matter what we're dealing with, it's important. So what are some skills or insights that you gained in this internship that you plan to carry into your future careers?
I think obviously like us working through NAMI, we did it through our class, so we got to work on like charting, which is not the most fun, but we got to learn how to do like all of our notes like after the sessions, and learning how to even make a lesson plan. Like we at the beginning of the semester had no idea where to start. Like we knew like, oh, this is an intervention, but we didn't know like how to do the steps to it, how to write it out, how to prepare for like things that aren't like gonna go as planned. So we were able to like learn that even with like, especially with kids, like things aren't gonna go to plan, and you have to have plan like A through F. And that's okay. Like it's okay to know that like it might not always go to plan, but you want to be able to reach that end goal like no matter what. So like being able to have them recognize those emotions at the end of the day is like the most important part. So I think like we learned like how to adapt like during the session, but also how to even like be an occupational therapist and like actually go out in the field and like be able to do like our job.
I agree 100%. Like I felt like you're in class and you're just like listening to lectures and labs, and like we have the past 2 semesters, well this semester and last semester, we had labs where we worked on each other, and like we did like bed mobility and like transfers, and it was never out in like the community or on like actual patients. So like what Reagan said, being able to get all of our work from the beginning of the semester and then finally implement it into like a community was like, it made me feel like an occupational therapist, but also kind of reassured me that I picked the right like field, because like especially we were fortunate to work with kids, which is again where we want to like that's the setting we want to work with. But like just working with them and just seeing like even like the small impact, like at the end of the session, like just seeing how open they were. I don't know if it's because we had candy, but like how
Kids
open,
do love candy.
I know how open like they were. They just really show like the impact, like even small things, like they're not gonna really like understand that this was like a therapeutic way, like that we're trying to see like cognition or like like vestibular, like all this stuff. Like they are not really understanding that. They're just think that they're getting in touch with like their emotions, but like we know like all like the nitty gritty stuff that like we're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. That's very cool. Why do you think programs like Exploring the Arts are important for kids' mental health?
I think honestly it's pretty important to like be able to let kids express themselves in the ways that they want to. So like we gave them blank journals and just told them to put their name on it, and they had stickers and markers and were able to like really express themselves and their personalities through those journals. And I don't think any one of them were even similar. Like it was
some of the colors were the same. Like the girls were like, I want pink or purple.
Right.
Yeah.
That.
But I think it was cool to see like just how much like they enjoyed just like drawing and using stickers, like just like being kids. And I know that like nowadays, like obviously with technology, like a lot of kids aren't like drawing and coloring as much. So I think like getting them to experience that and like be into it and like really enjoying that for at least like an hour out of their day was like really cool to see that like they loved doing it. Like they loved being like with their friends and like being able to just be kids. Yeah,
absolutely.
We actually just recorded an episode with a registered art therapist, and she said that most kids aren't required to take any art classes after 10 years old, which is crazy. So kids, like, most kids stop being creative for a majority of the day at 10, which is nuts. So, yeah, I agree. I think it's important that they have some kind of creative outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what advice do you have for future OT students who might want to participate in the program?
I would definitely say be adaptable, because I just don't think that like it's realistic to expect like it's gonna go perfect. Like you have to have options, like modifications. I would also say this is something that I've really had to work on, and I feel like I've improved, but patience. Like especially with kids, and like even I think there was kids and an older adult were like our two groups that we could pick from, and just having patience with both of them, because with the kids, like they talked, they got off task, and like you have to be patient and realize like this is to benefit them. Like we're here to help them, like we're here for them, it's not for us, like it's not about us. So having patience with them, but also like for example, like I went to one of my like grandparents like occupational therapy like sessions, and like having patience with like my grandma, for instance, was very, very like persistent and like hard-headed and like stubborn, and just seeing how the occupational therapist was like never cracked. Like he was understanding, he was like, I'll do whatever like you want to do, like if you don't want to do it today, I understand, but like we really should because of this. And just having like the patience and understanding like it is for them and it's for the client and it's to better them. So like never like pushing, but always like encouraging. Like you never want to push them like past their limits, but you also don't want to just like be like, yeah, that's fine, like we don't have to do it, because what are they going to get out of that?
Yeah.
Right.
We want to definitely like encourage them to do like as much as they can. Like even if they don't really want to, you can be like, okay, but we're going to have to do it in 10 minutes. Like you're going to have to do it at some point. So we'll make it as easy and as fast as possible and get you through it. But I think also like telling students to like, I know like it went by really fast. Like we only did 3 sessions with them. So like really like taking it in and like enjoying it while you're in it, because as much as like it was a lot of work, it was fun to like interact with the kids and like see their perspectives on things, and just like I guess enjoying it, because we've already gone through 3 years of school. So like, and that's crazy. Like I feel like I just got here. So so take every like moment and like really enjoy everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would also say relatable, like being relatable, because our first session we had like icebreakers for each session, just like kind of getting the kids like reeled in, and like just for us like connecting more with like the kids, like remembering their names and just like getting to know who they were, like talking about their day. And like we had icebreakers, and then we even did it too, so like they understood like, oh, like they're people too, like they have emotions, or like they might go through like what I went through, or like I'm tired today. Like someone could be like, oh, like I'm tired today. So it's like having like that like connection and like relatability that like just like, oh, like they're people too. Like
Yeah.
we can connect on like something, like obviously like in a like professional manner, but like just being able to be like what'd you do today? Like, oh, like I went on a walk. Like, oh, like I went on a walk too. Like just stuff like being able to like connect and being personable, I think is also important.
Absolutely. I feel like that helps people open up more when you have that aspect of being able to relate to them. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share about your experience in either your at Gannon or with NAMI?
No, I would just say Gannon's, honestly, their program's super, super nice. Like I know when I go home and I talk about like that it's a 5-year accelerated program, people are like, oh my gosh, no way, like really, like you're done in 5 years. And like even my boyfriend's brother was in PT school for so long, and he was like, wait, you're already like in grad school? It's just like it's so like nice, because like I do feel like it has flown by, but it's also like I feel like we're experiencing so much. Like, and I know like you could probably do it anywhere else, but like I don't know, like the professors are so nice, like the experiences that you have, like we already went through like 3 sessions of field work, and then we're going to like in the next 2 years. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just so exciting. Like I feel like I just got here too, and I already got through 3 sessions like with Reagan, like basically independently. But it's just like, if you told me freshman year like I was doing this, I would be shocked. So it's just like I like the pace that we're going at, and just like the confidence that like our like classes and professors have like built for us.
That's great. I feel like a lot of the time you hear kind of the opposite, like people feel underprepared. Not just again, but college in general, depending on the person. So that's really cool.
Yeah. I feel like Gannon has really like opened a lot of doors for us. I have personally like seen it like firsthand. Like my teammates have graduated, and like both of them have already, they got jobs right away. Like after they passed their boards, like they got right into jobs because they've been through the master's program here. And then also just like knowing that you have like a community here, because like obviously my family's like all back in California, so like building that community here was really nice. And Gannon made it really easy with like all of the programs, like within like our OT department, like all the professors, like whether you see them like around the school or like in the buildings. I bet even if like I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, I saw our director of our program, and she like asked me how I was, like asking me all these different things, asking me about acro. Like they're just like very involved, and they love to just like know like how we're doing as people, and not just like as a student on paper. So it's really nice.
I love that. Absolutely. Well, you guys did an amazing job while you were with us. So we were very fortunate. All the OT students we've had, I've always heard. I know I don't meet all of you guys, but everything I've heard is always great stuff. So thank you so much. We are truly grateful to Gannon and the OT program and what you guys are doing. So the best of luck to you both. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it, and we can't wait to see what the future holds for you guys.
Thank you for having us.
You guys are really insane. You do that sometimes too.
Yeah.
All right.
And thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Stigma Stompers Podcast. We truly appreciate all your support.
If you want to see more about what we do in our community, make sure you check out our website. It's NAMIErie.org. Make sure you also click on our t-shirt store tab so you can buy a t-shirt. We get a portion of all the proceeds. And make sure you sign up for our newsletter. It has all of our programming and event updates.
Another way you can get involved is if you feel comfortable sharing your personal story. You can email us at info@NAMIErie.org, or you can give us a call at 814-456-1773.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye!